Good morning. Happy Monday. And welcome to Make It Happen Monday, where we take a little bit of time out of our busy lives so we can be informed, inspired, and make it happen for the rest of the week. If you do not know me by now, I am your host, Monique. I'm a visionary, a growth strategist, and a faith based leadership coach. And I have curated this space, Make It Happen Monday, as a virtual place for us as Black women leaders, right? This is where we talk out our stuff. This is where we have no filter. We're honest. We come to the table exactly as who we are, because when we do that, we know that we are not alone in any way, shape, or form. This is a space that I also created to make sure that we elevate other Black women that are doing great work. Yes, we see some of us, we see more images of us with influencers and, famous, people that are famous. However, there are women that are just as incredible, just as dynamic, that are doing amazing things every single day. And this is our space where we uplift those women. But most importantly, what you hear here on this show, I hope that you are able to get stronger, right? That you're able to learn stronger, meaning that you find what is necessary for you to keep going, to keep moving, to keep progressing in life, that you're able to learn something, that you get inspired in some way that motivates you to continue to aspire to be the woman that you are called to be, right? And we just want to be supportive along that process. And so if you are here, listen, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, do the notifications so you do not ever miss a Make It Happen Monday show or any other thing that we do through our work with She's Rising that helps driven Black women leaders that are tired of just surviving get the breakthrough that they need so they can live a life that they love and live that thing to the fullest, okay? So we do a lot of different things to be able to support you in that process. And so you want to click that notification so you can be here. We have a lot of fun on Instagram at Monique Inc. and a new page that we're building, She's Rising _. So connect with us there and make sure you comment, you ask questions, let your girls know that this is available for them so we can continue to be a part of this life that you are building for yourself, okay? So today we have a special guest. Every week we have a special guest. I'm very excited for who we have today to talk about authentic leadership, right? And so many of us have been conditioned. We learned, y'all know, code switching. Now this new generation, they don't subscribe to it like we used to. They don't really do the code switching like we were taught. However, we know that we feel like we have to show up a certain type of way in our different roles that we play in our life, and especially in our workplace and in our businesses. But who we have today, Dr. Lanecha, is going to talk to us about being who we are and our authentic leadership and how we can do that. So I am going to read her bio, and then I am going to welcome her to the show. We can welcome her. All right, so our guest, Dr. Lanecha, is a dynamic Black woman, business leadership coach, and anxiety therapist. She operates in her purpose of serving Black women entrepreneurs. And with a deep understanding of the challenges faced by women in business, especially in communicating confidently and building connections, Dr. Lanecha teaches her clients how to develop their authentic leadership style. Her coaching helps relieve the overwhelm of perfectionism, enabling women to thrive in their professional and their personal lives. She's passionate about fostering a supportive community where Black women uplift each other. Dr. Lanecha creates intentional spaces that encourage authenticity and mutual support. One of those spaces is the Mindset Your Business podcast, which she is the host. So beyond her coaching and therapy work, she loves spending time with her husband, 2 teen children, and her dogs. She is also an aspiring actress, bringing her vibrant energy and empathy to both the screen and her clients. So without further ado, let's play her Make It Happen song and welcome Dr. Lanecha to Make It Happen Monday. Here we go.
In case nobody told you today, you're special. In case nobody made you believe, you're special. Well, I will always have you to say, you're special. I'm so glad that you're with us.
broken but still purposed. Yes, you are special. I love it. Welcome to Make It Happen Mondays.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, and thank you for being a guest. I really appreciate you for saying yes to the invitation. And I cannot wait to bless the women with your knowledge and your expertise today. So, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So, true make it happen fashion, we start with something fun and quirky. So, we heard about your bio, all the great things that you've accomplished, the work that you're focused on doing, the roles that you play. But tell us something fun and quirky about Dr. Lanecha.
I thought about this question and I had no clue what I was going to say.
And you
Forgot
probably have
that.
sentences.
I forgot that in my bio I put that I was an aspiring actress, so I was going to
Yes.
say that. But
Oh,
that is fun and quirky about me. But here's something that your audience might know. I am from Chicago. I am from the inner city,
okay.
but I have an accent. And we were talking about this before. You
Yeah.
asked me, like, where I hear that accent. I do live in the South right now. I'm
Yeah.
in Huntsville, Alabama, but
Yes.
I'm from Chicago, born and bred on the
And
South side of
Ray,
Chicago.
the south side of Chicago. Okay, listen. But now I'm curious about the actress though. I'm curious about so something fun and quirky. Like I imagine that aspiring actors are like practicing their acting skills in various ways, and so I'm curious as some of the fun and quirky actress things that you do. I'm sure you got them. I'm sure you have them.
Yes, listen. One of the things that I learned in acting class, so I started during the pandemic, but I've always had a dream of being an actress. It started back when I wanted to see myself on the Barney show.
What? Not Barney.
Listen, and the green grass grows all around. I wanted to sing that song on the big screen.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't many of us on that show.
Right.
I mean, maybe one or two, but
shoot, I don't remember any.
It was maybe one or two.
Yeah.
I do remember that there was a black boy that was on the show, but I always wanted to be on the show.
Yeah.
I always knew I saw myself being on the
big screen. On the big screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought it was going to be for singing, but that's not my ministry. That is not my ministry.
Really? But you obviously have a voice if you thought you were going to be on the stage for singing.
I thought I had a voice. Maybe with some fine tuning, I might be able to bring that back.
The background. I always say I sound good in the choir because I don't
put me in the front. Don't let me lead the solo. So I went to acting school when I was living in Vegas. I lived in Vegas for 5 years. I think it was 5 years, 4 or 5 years. I lived in Vegas. And during the pandemic is when I started taking acting classes. And one of the things on there, in class that I learned, they want you to be the person. They want you to put yourself into that. And also before any scene, I would do owl now brown cow, because I have a tendency of stumbling over my words. So I would always do that.
That's exciting. Listen, we can't wait to see what screens you show up on. If I see a commercial one day and I'm like, I know her.
Listen, thank you. I appreciate
that. Is fun. But you know what I love about that? Like I encourage so many of us to just explore. Like we are so fearful of failure or not working out or not knowing the where to begin or how to do that. We don't do. I'm like, just follow. If you got a little inkling in you, if you got something in you that you want to try, do it. Just do it. And if nothing else, you'll tap into a part of yourself that maybe has been dormant. You give yourself permission, and then other things are birthed out of that. So I love that you have decided to do something that has been in you for a long time,
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So we are talking today about authentic leadership. And I was like, I was looking at, of course, on your page. So we are in a content class together. We connected, yes, a program. I wouldn't say a class. Shout out to Carrie, right? Social with Carrie is her handle.
Yes.
She has built an incredible program, and so many people build things that are so surface, not transformational, not helpful, and charge thousands of dollars. My question, I wonder why she's not charging more, because it's the first thing that I have invested in that I feel like I have actually superseded. The value has exceeded what I have invested in it. I'm happy to pay the money that I'm paying for her and the clarity that that program has given. Right. Yes. So shameless plug.
Whatever Carrie launch,
I'm doing.
I'm signing up because I have experienced the transformation. I have experienced the clarity from a part of the Social from Scratch program. So shout out to you, Carrie.
And it becomes like the mark, right? So you're like, Dad, that program I'm building, I wanted to do this. That program, I want anybody who experiences it to walk away feeling like how we feel with Carrie. So shameless plug to Carrie, shameless plug to Carrie.
But not so shameless, because y'all need a Carrie.
Y'all need a Carrie, right? Social with Carrie, go check her out. So, but authentic leadership, I was drawn to it because I am so much the girl that is like, be you, do you, which is why I live on an island. Even though other people would be like, you can't, how would you, you're a mother. Yep. And still. And like my mom says, her theme song for me is I did it my way. She did it her way. She always do that, right? Right. So I am like, I'm just at my core that rebel who doesn't know how to do anything else but to be who I am. Right. And so I keep encouraging us to debunk what society or those systems say we have to be or we have to do. That's the only way that they're going to be broken. And so I love this idea of leading, and I always say this, leading by virtue of who you are. So I was like, we gotta talk about this. So let's start with like, how do you even define or look at leadership? And I know you focus on women with entrepreneurship, but I'm sure that there's some things that can be transferred to women in general. So when you look at leadership, how do you look at it? How do you define it? Because I don't even know if some of us even classify or see ourselves as leaders.
And this is the reason why I specifically work with entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Because Black women entrepreneurs, to be exact, because so many of us have started our business based off of a skill that we have. So for me, I'm a therapist, right? I wasn't taught about the business aspect, how to lead in a business, right?
Yes.
And that's why I work with Black women entrepreneurs, because you must master and work on your leadership style and your leadership skills, because you are the owner of the business. You are the leader of the business. And in my opinion, that might sound familiar to you, the best way to show to lead in your business is through authentic leadership, because authenticity, and I know that authentic, we wore it out on social media. We did. But I do feel that there is some significance, a lot of significance in being yourself, because what I'm seeing and working with my clients that I work with, my community, is that they just want to be themselves. They want to be themselves. They want to lead their business in a way that is true to them, their strengths. And so authenticity is our shield and our strength in situations where we are in spaces that tell us that we can't lead in this way. We can't have a successful business. But I'm here to tell you that you can.
Yeah. And I think that we can relate to. I too sometimes the internet wear things out that there's really value in it and should still be uplifted. I
Yeah.
100% agree with that. I also think that there's so many of us that want to lead in our lives
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as we are.
Yeah.
Like we want to just be who
Mm-hmm.
we are and to be able to operate in our spaces in that way. And similar to what you're describing as leading in your own business, because you are the business. Many women are the project or the CEO, or I mean the executive director. I work a lot in the nonprofit fields, or they're managing this huge initiative. So I think about it, right? Like in some ways, I'm gonna ask you that question. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think it's easier to lead authentically as a business owner than it is to lead authentically within a work environment?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And I say that because I started in the nonprofit world.
Oh,
So
you did?
I'm a nonprofit baby,
Me
okay?
too. Me too.
Yes. For many, many years, my first, as I would say, like big girl job
Yeah.
after undergrad
Yeah.
was in the nonprofit space. And I stayed in the nonprofit space for 11 or 12 years.
Did you? Wow.
And I
Yeah.
held various
Almost
roles:
20.
case
Yeah.
manager, coordinator,
Yeah.
manager,
Yeah.
director,
Yeah.
assistant director. And I found that in those spaces, I've worn a mask. Let me just say that.
Let's
I've
talk
worn
about
a
it.
mask in those spaces for years, for
Yeah.
years. Um, you know,
Yeah.
related to work, I was in those situations where, I had ideas, but they were always shut down. I wanted to try new things, but they were always overridden.
Yeah.
I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel heard. And
Right.
so that's why I think that in my business, it is easier to be my authentic self once you do that personal work. And that's what sets me apart, right? I
Right.
am merging the two. You're going to work on professional growth, and I'm
Yes. Me too.
personal growth
Me
and
too.
professional growth.
Me too. Me too. Before we go there, let's talk about the mask though.
Oh,
Let's talk about the mask that, and we could even go because you started sharing your story.
mhm.
What type of mask did you find yourself wearing?
Oh, the mask of everybody else, being who
Mm,
everybody else wanted me to be, right?
mm, mm.
In the workspace, I
Yeah.
would, I would keep my head down because that's what I was taught. Don't
Yeah.
ruffle your feathers, keep your head
Yeah.
down, do as you
Yeah.
told, don't be
Yeah.
late, go to work every day, work
Yeah.
harder so
Work
that you
harder.
have the opportunities as everyone
Yeah.
else. I
Yes.
used to hold on to friendships where I couldn't be myself because I didn't know who I was. So I found
So
myself trying to emulate who
yeah.
my friends were, trying to be
Oh.
like them, talk like them,
Mm,
shrink
wow.
myself.
Yeah, hold back some of who you were. I imagine. And this is some of the masks where you like hold back some of who you are because if is it professional, or what will they do with that information if they learned it, right?
Mhm. Or
Yeah,
even like I'm showing up like this, I don't think that they would appreciate that this is who I am. So maybe I shouldn't show this piece of me. Maybe I shouldn't tell them that I want to be an actress. Maybe I shouldn't wear because now I'm a shapely woman.
okay.
Maybe I should wear baggy clothes because I don't want anybody else to feel like I'm trying to outdo them or
Oh
outshine
my
them.
God. I had the same reality because I really feel like I was meant to live in LA or like a fashionista, like on the if before the three kids and I spent all my money on them, like the fashionista is in me, right? And so there's
Mhm.
moments where I want to show up like with the lipstick, with the whole outfit that's like where she thinks she going, but not
Wherever I want to.
outshine but not wanting to outshine or have that whole like who does she think she is? She thinks she's all that. Like that's not workplace appropriate. Yada 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 yada. The same thing. So
Yeah.
you shrink
And
from
I
not being
mean,
too much.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
And even in relationships too, I was in a relationship for many, many years that stifled my true expression. So if I wanted to uh act,
Yeah.
I was told all the reasons why that couldn't happen. If I wanted to get a second job, oh, that's a little bit of money. Why would you do that? In order to help
Yeah.
me fund my dreams. Or if I wanted to join a sorority, shout out to the the illustrious women of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Okay, I'm gonna shout y'all out. Okay. But that didn't happen until later, until I realized that I was doing myself a disservice in all of those relationships where I was not able to be myself,
In
in all
every
of the relationships where I did not take the time to figure out who I was, what I wanted, what my values were, what my strengths were, how I could ultimately, deep down at my core, help other people.
other people as being who you are. I love what you're saying because you're lifting up the reality that we don't just show up with the mask in the workplace and environment in our businesses, but that we end up showing up with that mask across our lives.
Mhm.
And how we get to that mask is by the messages that we are being told directly and indirectly by the various people in our lives, by the various societal norms, by who's saying what could be and what can't be, how you can and how you can't be, what's appropriate and what's not. All of
Mhm.
those things are leading us to feel like we must wear the mask
Yep.
in order to be accepted. And I mean, let's take it a little further. In order to survive, for our livelihood,
Mhm.
it's necessary for our livelihood.
Yep.
So it's not just about being cute. No, this is in order to keep this job, in order to make this money, in order to maintain, in order to have love in my life, even though we know that that's not what we want it to look like now. We know that.
Right.
These are the things that are necessary. This is the mask that I must carry. I
Mhm.
must bring. But what is the cost of that? I mean, not for yourself, for other clients that you work with, like what is the cost of this mask?
Your peace.
Hmm.
It costs you your peace. At least for me, it did. I
Yeah.
was always unsettled. I was
Mhm.
constantly the pressure of perfectionism, trying to be perfect. And I struggled with that in silence. I did.
Yeah.
I didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't talk about how I really wanted to just wear the outfit, how I really just wanted to pursue my dreams, how I really just wanted to develop the program that
Mhm.
I was hired to be over. How I
Yeah.
really just wanted to do those things. And it wasn't until I said, I'm not hiding my light anymore. I'm going to shine bright because I know that I have gifts that God has blessed me with, and I am being disobedient to him if I'm not using them to help the people who he has called me to serve.
But
But that
what got you there? What because I mean, so many women
Mhm,
go through that feeling unsettled. I
mhm.
just want to do this. I feel that lack of peace, the wrestling on the inside, and they just get up every day and
Mhm.
push through.
You know what? I am going to be honest and say that my husband
Hmm.
and my really, really good friend, Nicole, who is also my line sister, my sister forever,
Yeah.
they helped me with
Mm.
that. I was well into my 30s. I had owned or created businesses. And I was working as a contractor, and I started a podcast. I wanted to start a podcast. So my first podcast I started, but I was just so nervous, trying to be perfect, trying to make sure everything went well, hiding and masking the mistakes or my imperfections,
Yeah.
editing all over the place to make it so that I could produce well polished and
Yeah.
clean
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. So I'm a Taurus, y'all.
Okay.
I know I am strong mind and I'm, sharp tongue, but I'm also super kind and sensitive. I will
Mm.
I will cry at the drop of a dime. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was sitting in my closet. I lived in Georgia at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm.
sitting in my closet and I was so overwhelmed with trying to work, and that's another story, but trying to work,
Mm.
trying to build this business,
Mm.
seeing clients and taking on everything. And I remembered, I said, girl, what's your frame of reference? I had to think
Mm.
back. I had to think back on the people that truly support me. And that has always been my husband and my best friend Nicole. When I said, oh, I want to act, both of them were like, okay, how can we make this happen? What you want to do? Uh,
Mm.
let's look up some schools together. This is what my husband said.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
going back to, being in a relationship where I couldn't be myself, I felt stifled.
Yeah.
Having friendships where I was just like, let me shrink myself. And then
Mm.
working in places where I was just overlooked.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just wasn't the space for me. I
Right.
realized that I had the relationship with
Mm-hmm.
my husband who has shown me and treated me like nothing but the queen I am. I love you, baby. And Nicole, who has been a gem, who has always said, you you need to stop being afraid to put yourself out there.
Mm.
Very intelligent. You are raising an intelligent children and very smart children. What you scared of?
Mm. So for you, it wasn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she acknowledged you. So they acknowledged you. So for you, it wasn't about like you got tired of the pushing and the this. It sounds like for you, it was the people around you sort of elevating and pointing out to you how much of yourself you weren't being, how much more potential you had, and really encouraging you to come out of your shell and will take the mask off.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Friendships, or just relationships, I'll
Yeah.
say that can include friends and family, with
Yeah.
romantic relation, with my husband,
Yeah.
romantic. And then the third part was work. I was tired of working for other people, just being a worker. I
Mm-hmm.
was tired of working and producing so that you could be and operate in whatever, the
Yeah.
mission and vision is for your business.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here sick. So I
You
decided,
said, yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm stepping into full-time entrepreneurship. I am
Yeah.
going to learn how to run this business, the ins and outs. And baby, there were some low days, okay? Sometimes the money wasn't money, and it was very different than,
Very.
being stuck and being a slave to that check.
Yeah. But you
But
can take
what I
that with you.
was.
You can take that with you, right? Like you can take some of the shrinking and the mask can very much you could carry that with you from the job. So I think a lot of people feel like I'm not being seen. I want to do the things. I'm tired of pursuing other people's dreams. I want to pursue my own. I'm going to start my own business.
Mhm.
But that very persona that you have learned to have within that workplace is the persona that you carry with you into that new business,
It's all
right?
about the mindset. It's all about the
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah,
And for a while, that was me. I had
yeah,
this mindset. I had a mindset of doing as I was told, not pushing myself, not challenging myself, doing the bare minimum. Because I'll be honest, I used to just choose like whatever will get me by, that's what I'm gonna do. And
yeah.
so when I stepped into full-time entrepreneurship, I had that same mindset. Okay,
Mm,
you know, I'm a therapist. I can be a therapist. Let me build my therapy practice, and that's all I'll do. And what I didn't take the time to say, girl, but you can do other things. People need to hear your story.
mm,
And you can do that through podcasting. You've had a run with podcasting. So start another podcast. Talk to the people that you are called to serve. Be
Yeah.
obedient and share your gifts again. So it's
Yeah.
always been this tug on my heart, like, well, am I being obedient? Am I being a good steward of the gifts that I have? And
Okay.
I
So
have
your
many.
faith played an active role in it too.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I want to, I know that you're a anxiety therapist, and I know that you're moving into and you're into the coaching space now. I'm very curious though at the role anxiety plays, or how anxiety is showing up in the lives of women
Mhm.
who have not yet learned how to lead authentically.
Um, it shows up as overthinking. It shows up as irritability. It shows up as fear. It shows up as procrastination. It
Mm.
shows up as really not really holding on to being perfect. And I'm here to tell you that chasing perfect will never come. It will never come because there's no such thing as just perfect. Like
And
if
by
you
who, and it can't be, because because if it's perfect, you're saying it's perfect, and it's according to somebody else's standard. Every person is so subjective. So
Mhm.
you could create something that could be perfect in the eyes of someone else, but someone else is not perfect. So
Right.
then, whose standard of perfection are you really using in order to determine if what you created is perfect or not?
Right.
Right.
Right. Right. So that's why I say, I, look,
I love it. You said overthink. God, Lee, where's my pen? You said overthinking,
overthinking,
procrastination,
procrastination,
perfectionism. What I love about this,
irritability as well.
irritability.
Mhm.
What I love about this is we tend to find a solution by focusing on that thing. People say, "Oh, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm going to work on being perfect." "Oh, I'm an overthinker. I'm going to work on being an overthinker." "Oh, I am irritable. I'm gonna do these affirmations and these mantras so I'm not irritable." Uh, there's something at the root.
Mhm.
There's something,
Yeah.
and what I'm hearing you say in my being, and what I also fundamentally believe, is that when you are not true to who you are, right? We're talking about authentic leadership.
Hmm.
Authentic leadership comes by way of you knowing who you are
Yes.
and being able to embrace that and operate fully in it. And so when you are not in alignment with that truth,
Mhm.
and I know sometimes when our Make It Happen Mondays may sound a little bit redundant. We're saying the same thing in different ways because it's just the truth. If
Yes.
you master the art of being who you are,
Hmm. Yep.
you will get the salute. You will find everything that you're looking for on the other side
Mhm.
of that.
Yeah.
That's just
And
what you think about that.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And to, when you say, like, it sounds like we're talking about the same thing. If you continue to listen to Make It Happen Monday, week after week, or time after Monday, and you're hearing the same things, that's your call, boo. That is your call to operate in who you are, in
Yes.
who you are.
Yeah.
And there are some ways that some things that I would suggest that the listeners
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I'll
Let's
wait
let's
until,
get into that. No, no, no. Let's get into that because I mean, we've lifted up the fact that we find ourselves wearing these masks, and
Mhm,
some of us don't even know that that's the mask that we're carrying. But even though masks look light, baby,
mhm,
we're not talking about we wearing, well, you might have different kind of masks. You might have a little light sleeper mask. Maybe you're not only somewhat not being who you are. Some of
mhm.
us got the whole carnival situation. We got the whole, I'm saying carnival because I'm on the island. At the carnival, it's the big with the head, and it's the whole, like, you got the whole, some of it, and that's even not even fully, but it's real glamored up, right? But it's a mask. Other of us is like full out superhero, like
Yes.
got the whole thing over us. Your voice don't even sound the same. Your voice don't even sound the same because there's some box in there that wait a minute now. Wait a minute. So you full throttle. You in full character. Okay.
Mhm.
And you are a completely somebody else. And what just came to me, like it happens in our workplace, it happens in our home. My son yesterday was like, "So you gonna stay home like until then, like this whole time?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I mean, you going nowhere?" And I was like, "No, I don't think I am." And he said, "I said, what, you think I can't sit still?" And he was like, "No, I don't think you can sit still." And so, but a part of me was like, "Well, that's rude. Like this." And then I thought, I took a step back. I said, "Oh my God, my son sees me."
Mm-hmm.
Because for 20 years of their lives, I wore a mask,
Mm-hmm.
right? 20 years of their life, I was the suburban mom. The soccer, I wasn't soccer, they were basketball. You understand what I'm saying? For these whole 20 years, I moved to the suburbs. I was a part of the PTO. And I'm not saying that I don't, that I didn't want to do any of those things, because I did, but I wasn't adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't, like me moving to that island. Some people be like, "Oh, you." No, that's, my son was like, "Are you having a midlife
Your life
crisis?"
life.
Yeah, and I was like, I could. I said, "But you know what? I believe I'm returning to myself." I
Uh-huh.
said, "I believe that this is who I've always been.
Mm-hmm.
Love music, quick to take an adventure, try new things." I
Yep.
said, "But I became who you needed me to be, who I felt you needed me to be."
Mm-hmm.
Where the truth of the matter is, they could have been on adventures with me. Now, they got it a little bit because we went somewhere new every year. But, it was subdued. And I said, wow, what if I would have told my kids 10 years ago that this is who mommy is?
Mm-hmm.
Mommy likes to, you know what I mean? So we wear masks in whole different places. Okay, I digress.
Yep. Yep.
Mask is heavy. We got different forms.
Yep.
Come to a place. If you haven't come to the place, you may be entering the place where you hear that nudging, where you are, you're feeling the unfulfillment. There's something that's off. People around you may be bringing up for you, like your story, that there's some things in you that you're not quite tapping into, right? But
Yep.
then it also shows up in our lives in the form of anxiety through what? Say them, you got them again. Come on.
Oh, now.
Irritability.
Overthinking,
Uh-huh.
irritability,
Uh-huh.
procrastination,
Uh-huh.
perfectionism,
Uh-huh.
and overall just worrying about the future, obsessing over the future, or
Yeah.
ruminating in the
Yeah.
past.
And I'm gonna throw another one, imposter syndrome, because I don't know if I subscribe to that word. Because since there's a lot of things happening in that imposter, sometimes it's an environment that wasn't built for us, and
And that's
nothing about it aligns with who we are. And so we feel like we're imposters because that environment wasn't built for us. In other
mhm,
ways, it is because maybe we're not even in alignment with who we are, what we're supposed to do. So we feel like an imposter in our own life, so it's a whole lot of other things, right?
when it comes to imposter syndrome, I used to subscribe to that until I did further research.
Right.
Now, imposter syndrome came about based on a study that
Yeah.
was done on all white women. It did not include a space for me. And I think I've read on social media now that there are studies and things that are including women of color
Yeah.
in relation to imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
but I can't feel like an imposter in a space that's not designed for me. It's not designed for me.
Yeah.
And so I get it how you might feel like you're not
Why
enough,
would you?
how
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
might feel like a fraud,
Yeah.
but no, I'm not an imposter. I am
Right.
just, for me, I've switched that to I was letting fear drive my life, and
Yeah.
I know that I am enough. I know that I can do whatever it is I put my mind to. I know that if I am disciplined and consistent, I will reap the benefits of
Yeah.
my obedience and my consistency.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. 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 So let's get into it, right? So we did our little recap. I
yep.
digressed a little bit. So let's get back on track. Tell us, I get excited. Tell us about this pathway to
Mhm.
leading authentically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you have to do is you really have to reflect inward. You have to establish what your identity is, because many of us, our identity and who we are, what we want to do, is attached to the role we play in the workplace. Being a mother, I know for me, my identity became, okay, I have to be the best mother that I can be.
Yeah.
In the workplace, okay, I got this job, I got this role, I have to be the best this. As a therapist, I have to be the best therapist for my clients, which I have a servant spirit, so I'm always going to be trying to be the best for my clients. And even in friendships, like, I got to be the best friend, I got to always show up, I got to make sure I remember the important things, and I have to put my friends above me and family members and their needs above mine. And I said, I had to ask myself, girl, who are you? What are your values? Right? What are your strengths? And it's kind of sad to say, but not so sad to say, because
That you didn't know.
better late than never. Is that I had to revisit my core values in my 30s. I had to revisit what my strengths were in my 30s, because initially, when I first started working, they give you, what are your core values, what are your strengths, and you do all these tests and stuff like that. And then you just or at least for me, I just operated over that through the years.
But so many of them are based off of your performance.
Mm-hmm.
They're not based off of fundamentally who you are. Even the strengths are based on something externally that you produce or that you do well, not intrinsically who you are, your natural gifts and talents.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. And so for me, what it really was, and what I teach my clients, is to discover or rediscover your why. Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you do what you do? Why do you want to do what you do? That question, why, baby, will get you down to the root of a lot of questions.
And then keep asking why. Yeah.
What makes your soul smile? What keeps you with a heart posture of servitude, of positivity, of gratitude? What is your why? And knowing your why is so crucial, and it's a essential element in authentic leadership.
And so the why is based on what the why. Because the why, if it's why I'm doing what I'm currently doing and I'm operating in survival mode, that will get me a different answer than a different. So what exactly why? What are we looking to understand our why around?
The why of everything. The why what wakes you up? Why do you wake up in the morning outside of, being allowed to by the Almighty?
Why do you get out of bed?
Right. Why do you make decisions about certain things for whatever role it is in your family, in your life? Why do you make these decisions with your children? Why do you make these decisions with your husband? Why do you make these decisions in the workplace? Why do you make certain decisions in your business? Why, girl? Why?
Because that'll tell you your truth. Is that the idea? Like, it tells you where you are and what place you're operating from right now?
So yes.
Okay.
And also it tells you about you. It makes you have to sit down and really think about those things. How many of us are business owners, mothers, maybe spouses, or in relationships? We're friends, we're daughters, we're aunts, uncles. How many of us can truly say, you know what, I have to take the time to think about me?
Yeah.
What are my likes? Have I ever honestly prioritized myself? And for myself and many of the women that I have been honored and blessed to coach or even be a therapist for, many of them, the answer is no. I've never really prioritized myself. I don't really know what my identity is because my identity was wrapped up in what I can do for other people, how I can make them feel, and what I need to do to
Our
survive
role,
from
our
day to
role, our role that I played.
day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. So once you sit down and you really get the answer to that why,
Mm-hmm.
what comes next in the process of that authentic leadership?
Mm-hmm. So next is again, like, and in the why you might discover your values, but I really want you to sit down and think about what you value the
Mhm.
most. What are your values? And you could have two sets of values. You
Yeah.
could have personal values and you could have your business values.
Mhm.
You know, and sometimes they differ, but sometimes they are in alignment,
Yeah.
right? And so what the reason why it's so important to understand what your values are, because as you navigate after understanding your why, you will start, your values should help you in who you surround yourself with,
Yeah.
right? How
Yeah.
you show up in the world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
projects you're going to say yes to or not say yes to, um,
Yes.
what new things you try as
Yes.
well, because
Yes.
just trying a new thing, could be detrimental and it may not be in alignment with the values. You know,
Absolutely.
like for me,
Absolutely.
my core values are, relentless pursuit of excellence, community building, authenticity,
Yeah.
in who
Right.
you are and
Go
what you want
figure.
to do with your life,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Exactly.
and unyielding self-belief. You
Yes.
must you must believe in yourself. And it starts
Absolutely.
with really doing that inner work, looking inward, like you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, that
Yeah.
intrinsic work, not based on the mask, peel it off.
And
Take
not
off
based
the
on what
makeup,
you produce
off
either.
the wigs.
Yeah.
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 Take it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. I love, and I think a big one for us as Black women is not being, um, or having our identity or our value being wrapped up into what we produce and
Mm-hmm.
how we perform, right? It's like, could you still love yourself and be fully confident if you are just sitting still
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
a beach, like if you're
Yep.
not doing,
Mm-hmm.
how do you separate yourself from the doing? Because we even look for the doing in order to go through our process. We're like, what book can I read? What journal can I do? Like, we don't think of the doing as this inward just moment of reflection and learning how to be present and connected with ourselves
Yeah.
and our inner knowing to
Mm-hmm.
guide what's next. We don't think of stillness as you know what I mean?
I was
Producing.
just about to say that.
Go ahead, go
Can
ahead.
you, can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
sit in silence? Can
yeah,
you be alone?
yeah.
Because so many of us attach again to performance, to what we can produce, to who we have around us.
Yeah.
So many of us rely on that, baby. Can you sit down by yourself?
So,
Can you not do anything?
so in a world where you're constantly surrounded by people and things and responsibilities and demands,
Mm-hmm.
how do you carve out that time for yourself to do this reflection, to sit with yourself, to be alone? What does that look like in the demands of our day-to-day life?
Alone time is a non-negotiable for me. One
Negotiable.
of my in self-care, emotional self-care, physical self-care, financial self-care, all forms of self-care is a
Mm-hmm.
non-negotiable for me. And it goes beyond the getting nails done, doing hair, doing makeup, presenting in this way. For me, every single day I take time for myself. This is where I
Right.
am nobody's wife. I'm nobody's mother. I'm not a dog mom. I'm not a plant mom. I'm not a therapist in this moment. I'm not a coach. My mama even know. All right, now it's my self-care time.
Right,
So
right, right. And you carve it. It's a non, and it must. And so I imagine you're telling the women that it must be a non-negotiable for them as well.
it must be a non.
Yeah, because we keep saying that we don't have time, we don't have time, we don't have time.
We make time for what we want to make time for.
Make it.
We will
And
fill our calendars with doing things for other people, but
yeah,
have you actually penciled yourself in? This I might be showing my age, or put yourself in your calendar to say,
yeah,
I'm gonna take care of me today. That could be sitting in silence. That could be watching your favorite show. That could be learning, something that you want to learn. That could be reading for leisure.
yeah.
Because a lot of times we don't read for leisure
We
anymore.
don't. We don't.
So whatever it looks like for you, there's no wrong way to participate in
To do
self-care,
it.
but
Yeah.
it is a non-negotiable
And
that you
start
must.
small, right? If you need to start small and you can work your way up to the
Agree.
everyday,
Yeah.
right?
I started with 15 minutes, same time every single day.
Mm.
I was just like, oh, 15 minutes ain't enough, baby. You need some more time. And I've I've progressed. And what that has shown me, going back to discipline and consistency, it shows me how to be disciplined with myself. It shows me how to be consistent with myself. And it also shows me how to honor my commitment to
Yes,
myself, which
yes,
is the
yes,
first thing that you also must do. You must commit
yes,
to a
yes.
journey of authenticity and leadership, because there are so many things externally. It's a lot of external chatter and even internal chatter that will
Oh
try
God,
to knock you off your
yeah,
switch.
that's the loudest. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Mm.
internal chatter is loud,
Ooh, baby. And be just as
loud,
loud as she want to
and
be.
it's conflicted. She's so the internal cloud. She's so hypocrite. I don't. Maybe if it's one person that's confused, or a lot of people that keep saying different things. So that's it's
Listen,
like,
I
are
have
you
named,
simple or is it multiple people? Because it's like you said this one moment, now you saying this the next moment, and
hey,
which one is it gonna be?
look, I have learned to have a relationship with my inner critic, right? And I've named her too, because I'm not blaming the inner critic. Our inner critic is designed to
Yeah,
keep us safe,
yeah.
but it's designed to keep us safe based off of faulty uh
Wiring, beliefs.
measures.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
yeah, it's faulty,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
it's just like, oh, you scared, you shaking. Let me talk you out of doing this. But we
uh-huh.
know that to see success, to see forward movement, you're
Yeah,
going to have to do some things that are scary. So
yeah,
I've named my inner voice. I've been
uh-huh.
able to identify my inner critic. I mean, I've been
Yeah,
able to identify when she's showing up.
yeah,
We tussle. We tussle,
right.
because what you're not gonna do
Could you
is
not?
keep me from being obedient to
Ooh,
the to serving
yeah.
the people that I am called to serve.
Mhm.
So
I
okay,
love it.
uh,
What you not gonna do? Ooh, I love that. I love that. Like y'all inner critic. Tell your inner critic what she not gonna do. She's
she ain't
not.
gonna do
Yeah, she's not gonna keep you from being obedient. She's not gonna keep you from living a life that you love. You love. She's not gonna keep you from being exactly who you were made to be, owning it and
it.
being that person everywhere you go in the world. She's not gonna steal your joy. She's not gonna steal your peace. Come on now. She's
So
not gonna,
she
that's
can
what she's
have
not
several
gonna
seats,
do. She's gonna
and
have several seats
and
because
she's
when you
not
get
going to. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no, go,
She's
go ahead.
not going to, in the words of Carrie Perry, she's not going to knock me off from living more and working less.
Because you know who gonna be the first one living their best life when you get there. That inner critic.
You know what I'm saying?
She gonna be
Talking about, girl,
happy
talking
that
about, girl,
you
what took you so long to get over here? We having a good time over here.
because you know she's switching up. She's switching up. I love that. I love that. And so what I heard you saying, because as we come into a close, I heard you saying that understanding the why, getting to the place of why do you get up in the morning? Why do you do the things that you do? Why did you do, are you choosing this path? Why, what lights you up? Just really the why, to
Yeah.
really get be able to connect with yourself and where you are right where you are in this moment, and to ask yourself questions that we typically don't give ourselves the answer to, so we can really better understand ourselves, right? And then the next thing that you talked about is understanding your values, and how, and once you understand what you truly value, how you use it to shape and guide every single decision, every single action that you take in your life, right? And then this last one, what we talked about is to quiet the commitment. We
Which
talked
I
about
would say is the first. It starts with
first with commitment, starts
Mhm.
with the commitment, being committed to this process, being consistent, honoring yourself, doing what you say that you're going to do, and learning how to quiet that inner critic in order to hear the why, in order to do the values. And I know that there's a whole other process, other parts of the process, but they got to connect with you in order to do that. So in order to get the rest of it. So Dr. Lanecha,
yes,
before we tell them where to find you, if they don't, if the viewers don't hear anything else from this conversation, you want them walking away knowing, feeling, believing what?
I want you to walk away knowing that you are amazing. I want you to feel inspired. I want you to feel like you are invited to connect with me. I want you to feel like you can go out here and be yourself. I want you to also know that you need to, in your business, lead out loud and lead with you.
All right, all right. So where can people find you?
Yes,
Where
you can find me on the social. So Instagram is my social of choice, and I'm at Dr. Lanecha. That's DrLanecha. You can click the link in that bio where you can join my email community, which is the authenticators. Like, look, we over there authenticating, okay?
yeah.
I also am the host of the Mindset Your Business podcast, and you can listen to that wherever you listen to your podcast, and just keep an eye out because I got some big things coming.
I'm excited. I'm excited that you were on. I'm excited for the things that you're doing and building. We really do need someone that reminds us that we can be who we are, and to help us navigate the perceived cost of that. And sometimes it's not even perceived. There are actual costs of that, but to believe that you can't do anything but get whatever is yours if you are true to yourself. You're only getting a rundown, watered down rendition of yourself and what's possible in life if you're not really being who you're meant to be. So know that whatever you lose along the way was meant to be lost, baby, so you can get what was really meant for you. So as we wrap up on Make It Happen Monday, instead of our quote of the week, I'm going with the affirmation. And I want you guys to say it with me. I stop apologizing for being myself.
I
I
stop
stop
apologizing for
Stop
being myself.
apologizing. Yes, for being myself. Let's say it one more time together, Dr. Lanecha. I stop apologizing
Apologizing for
for
being
being myself. Thank you all for joining us on another Make It Happen Monday. We'll see you next Monday, where it's our Girlfriends in Grace times Make It Happen Monday collaboration, where we come and apply the word of God, the practices of God into our lives. And stay tuned to the topic. All right, you guys, make it a great rest of your week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.